Okay, lastly, whenever you get everything kind of compiled together, you've got all your pages created. I haven't went through and created the other pages yet, but these would all be linked together. I'd have probably like 4 or 5 pages here of content. Um, and that's just something you got to kind of go about doing. I'm not really happy with this turnout, so I don't really want to pursue it that any further without kind of making some drastic changes to like the images and stuff like that. So, and just and content too. But just for demo purposes, if you've got everything kind of like it is and you previewed it, looks pretty good, and you kind of want to proceed with this where everything's linked together. You need to make sure everything that you were creating, and this was kind of in the beginning, was in one folder. Where's it at? Move some stuff around here. I had everything created in this Monday demo, and I didn't have an image folder. I just had 1 or 2 things in there, and I was actually had my Photoshop file in there too. But these are the 2 pages I've created with the style sheet. You'll see the images right there. I should have had these in image folders, but I didn't. Um, but nevertheless, you have this on the hard drive, which was kind of day one stuff working on it. You really want to be able to like upload all this to a server or be able to upload it to someone else, to preview it on their browser if they need to, or to submit it for an exercise. You can take the actual folder like it is, save everything in it, make sure everything's saved and called in there, and you can just zip it up, compress it and zip it, and send it where you need to go. If you are uploading it to a website hosting, this is where it gets kind of tricky, but you'll notice over here in the files, we went and created a site to begin with, and I haven't created a site basically for what the project I was working on here, so I'll kind of walk through it. So if you haven't did this to begin with, then you can actually kind of back up and do it at the end, just as long as everything is in the same folder and everything is called. Because if you were to take and create an image folder now in this folder here, and start dropping stuff in there, it's gonna like offset the code, in other words. So like your images where this right here, yeah, you're gonna have to like start calling in front of it. It'll be like a dot dot slash new folder image wherever it is in. So you need to make sure everything's called directly before you go ahead moving stuff around, if you do choose to move stuff around, which once I kind of lay it in the website, I try to tend to keep it where it's at. I should have created an image folder to begin with, but I did not, so my bad there. But I was only using 1 or 2 images. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new site based on this new folder here, and then show you how I connect to my server. So I'm just gonna create the new site, which this will come up, and I'm gonna call this the Monday demo. Because I have everything on my site that I have connected to my server, but I'll walk through the process. I'm going to go browse and find it. Here it is right here, and I'm just going to select the folder. So save, I have it. Now, if you notice over here, this whole folder, this local folder came up with all that folder um, information, style sheet, and all the pages and everything. So now I want to go over to manage sites. I'm going to double click here. I'm going to go down to server. We'll add a server. I use GoDaddy. It was a little difficult because I haven't logged in a while. I haven't actually used their services in a while besides the web builder. So I haven't really been uploading stuff like HTML wise in a while. So it was a little difficult. I had to actually call them. That's kind of why I like GoDaddy. It's kind of a love-hate relation. Like, I like it because you can call them anytime and they usually kind of alleviate the problem, or if you're confused about something. Most of the time they're not going to be Dreamweaver oriented. There are a few customer service that may actually know, and that's irrelevant to them really anyway. It's really kind of being able to upload stuff to their hosting services, and you can do that through Dreamweaver, which is why I use it. You can use things like FileZilla. I believe I may have it downloaded, I'm not sure, which is a it's just a free software that you can download that connects to a server, and you can basically upload your local files to a remote file hosting service by typing in these same FTP addresses and stuff like this that you'll see. So, but like for this right here, if you want to add a server on here, my server name, I thought it was GoDaddy at first, but they've actually reverted to the IP address, which I just typed my IP address in there. And the FTP address is the same as the server name. That was one thing I had to figure out. Usually type in your username, which is just simply my name with them. I have my GoDaddy site up that I can show you where I found it at. I go into my GoDaddy account and I go in my hosting details and I can find my username. This is usually different than username password for your FTP is usually different. In other words, my GoDaddy username and password to get into the GoDaddy site is one thing. Then I go into my FTPserver site. Let's see if I can. Is a totally different thing. So I go down here to my websites down here that I have my web hosting, and this is a totally different password and username down here. So, and it usually has all the information over here that I need. I just didn't know the server address. I didn't know it was the actual IP address. So, but that's my username that I use, and I have my password loaded in with GoDaddy, whatever it may be, like my information. Yeah, I have it hidden here, but that's where my password is, and you know I know that, so I just type that in here. Then it's always going to be port 21. Usually I've never had it any other port before, but let me try to connect here. So testing server. Okay, cool. It connected. So that means I am connected to Dreamweaver, or Dreamweaver is connected to, and I'm going to save this one. Is connected to GoDaddy, to where if I make any changes here, all I gotta do is basically that. Basically kind of just upload it to their site. Make sure I'm doing this right. Two screens going here. Sites. I thought it saved it in there. Maybe it did not. There we go. Yeah, that's whenever. Now you get this selection up here that you can always connect to the remote server. Like right now I'm connected to my server, GoDaddy, miles away. If I make any adjustments to this stuff right here, all I gotta do is kind of put files to remote server. So I'll save here and put files, and I can bring files in. So if I went to my other site here that I have stuff, I have a few different domain name. I can download my index pages and stuff from those sites. So pretty convenient. The best thing to do is kind of preview it, so how it's going to look. Sometimes I would preview it here, then I would upload it to the site or upload it to my domain name. And then I would, maybe call a friend and say, hey, what does this look like on your computer? Or just check it real quick, just see what it looks like kind of out there. Domain name hooking up. Whenever I bought my domain name through GoDaddy, I actually had to call them and make sure that it was live. So that may be one thing you may want to check to make sure that if you're using this for like jeremy'swebsite.com and I own that domain name in GoDaddy, you may want to call them and make sure that when I upload stuff, it's going to find that root directory, which that was kind of the define in right here. It will go to the root directory of that domain name, but usually it's going to be either dots / index of the index will match to it. So for instance, I got this other site that I already have existing on. I have these different domain names. I have this Dead Man's Mail Music, and that is the index page. All I have is one splash page connected with them, and it's in the folder of the domain name of what I wanted to use, and that folder connects with the domain name, and then it uses this index page as its front page. So same way with like this page right here. See, I have my image folders of this MikeTrain.com. That is a live domain name right now. You could check it, and this is the index page for it, and the images that are called on that page are located within this image folder. So, and you can make these little fabcoms, these little things that go at the top of the tab. You can upload that. We can go over that sometime. So, but that is a little explanation on how to submit it to a server or submit it to like someone else. Just need to make sure this thing is zipped up and all the images and everything are correctly called in here, because if you go moving any of these out, you're going to have to adjust the code, find out where exactly it's called to. So, okay, well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.